Today's tutorial we will work on Gymnopédie number 1 by Erik Satie. Although it is considered by many of us as a beginner piece, I think there are challenges of producing colorful tone and being in control with timing, without losing the minimalist character of this piece. For me, the real challenge here is the left hand. We need to search for very transparent sound, especially with the chords, in order to create matching atmosphere for the melody. It can be tricky to set the balance between both hands. We need to expose the right hand a little, which is singing with a single tone. If both hands approach with similar touch, the left hand naturally will produce more volume because of the chords. We don't want to lose the brightness of these chords. In fact, we want to hear it clearly and enjoy the harmonic changes. In this case, we will use a technique called voicing. It requires very controlled attack every single time we play these chords. For those who haven't heard of voicing, it in this type of piece means equalizing each tone within the chords. Let's take the first chord for example. Let's see how we can manipulate the way a single chord sounds. If you play it straight, it will sound something like this, which isn't incorrect, but isn't special either. A small adjustment could bring it to next level. Now I will play the top voice stronger. B and D are going to be softer. And here the magic happens. This is the sound I'm looking for. Let's try it with both the first and the second chord. Make sure your thumb, which is playing the top voice, is not completely in the same line with the other fingers, rather staying a little below. Just a little though. In this way you kind of create a bulge, therefore the top voice will sound more when you press them at the same time. So now try hiding B and D a little bit more. And here we are. Overall voicing is a very important technique for higher level of piano playing. It takes time to master, and it is worth it. Once you have succeeded to play the chords properly, it's time to combine them with the single bass notes. In this case, I like to imagine it as played by a double bass. I don't necessarily mean short, although with pedal it will sustain anyway. Just a little spicier. Just to give it a little dance effect. How I move my hand between the bass and the chord is the key point if I want to make it sound natural. I want you to imagine there is a trampoline on the bass and then you are landing from above. Try not doing it with parallel movement. So we are using a little bit of the gravity to keep it simple. It gives us better control. My approach would be absolutely the same for the rest of the piece. So I would do the same with all the other chords. All I have explained is a general idea of how the left hand should be played in this piece. I suggest you to try learning the left hand first, either half or the whole piece. Now let's go with the right hand. We have a beautiful and simple melody here, created by single notes. Try playing it with very relaxed and flexible wrist. We don't want to play it aggressively at all, so make sure your approach is very gentle and connect them with care. Now let's try to give it a little bit of direction. As you see, the dynamic is pianissimo. A crescendo and decrescendo follows up. So we need to build it up from F sharp towards D. Then we go softer again. After you feel comfortable with both of them, Let's put them together. Make sure you change the pedal every bar with the bass note, in order to hear clearly both the left hand's harmony and the right hand's melody. First two chords, which are repeated many times. Both have a different feeling for me, so I want to play them with different colors. Through the whole piece, they will appear two times with the same combination, so I want to make the audience feel at home every time they hear these two chords. The first one is in a way more positive and hopeful, while as if the second one is more fragile and sad. Of course, you might feel differently about them, but I think we could all agree that both of them have different characters. So I will play the first one a little brighter, and the second one a little softer. Now let's play both hands again. The next phrase is pretty much the same as the first one, though at the end of it we go in a little darker place. Harmony will change, and now there is longer fade out with right hand. At this point, I like to give independent roll to the left hand and make crossfade with the right hand. So while going softer with the melody, I play gradually the left hand stronger and prepare a dramatic surface for the coming next part. Let's go for the next two phrases. I want to talk about them at the same time because they are in this case very related. We have the first phrase that suggests something. Then we have the second phrase, which asks for a little more than what first phrase offers. I would try playing gently the first one and more bravely the second one. Still though, I would start and finish softly with the both. If you are not able to play these chords with the left hand because you have shorter fingers or you can't stretch them that much, you can transfer the top voice to the right hand, so it will be just fine. If you are not sure which fingers you should play with, you can download the sheet music for free in the description. There you will find all the fingerings I'm using. Back to the left hand. In case you play the top voice of this chord with the right hand, you still need to do voicing. So the idea is the same. This time you will need to play the chord softly and play with the thumb a little sharper. So there is transparent sound again. Alright, let's move to the last phrase of the first section. The beginning was very calm. Then with the next two phrases we opened up a little bit. For the closure, I want to create much more contrast. I would start with a little bit more open sound. Build it up a bit more confidently and finish it softly. With these two chords though, make sure you apply the same idea of voicing that I used with the left hand. So the upper C and D must be brighter, and the rest very soft. That was all for the first part of the piece. As you see, the second half is almost the same, with an exception of last phrase being in minor tonality this time. I would do pretty much the same, and perhaps at the end I would go for less contrast, and I would go as soft as possible with slowing down. Now I will play the whole piece through and try implementing all these ideas I've talked about.